Hello. Welcome. We're live. It happened. Magic, guys.
Wow. The magic
So
of the
true.
internet.
And let's see. There we go. Perfect. All right. Welcome. So we've already got people, and sorry for the awkwardness, everyone, but this is the first time we're doing this whole rollout thing. So we're gonna hit chat really quick. Oh wait, first, who do I have? Everyone, let's introduce yourselves. I'm Allison Choi, obviously. And tonight we're doing retro Cavalcade. Is that right?
Cavalcade.
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 And I am joined by Derek Hoover of the Yesterday's podcast.
Hello.
And then Andrew of Gady's Toys.
Hello.
And we're here to do our hot takes on toys, because why not? Specifically, our favorites from Hasbro PulseCon and the Loyal Subjects news, because I think the three of us, all three are invested in M.A.S.K and Gem. So, yeah. Anyway, quickly, hello, Aaron the Toy Enhancer. We did say M.A.S.K. Oh, there you are, Andrew. Look, we've got highly articulated Adam being a gloomy Gus already. And that's fine. Excellent. M.A.S.K for M.A.S.K. We need the M.A.S.K to come out more guys. And then Mint with Card. Perfect. Give us an hour and we'll talk toys. And
I'm looking forward to seeing Mint without card. Live free.
Oh, sucky. All right, let's see.
Patron Mike.
Yeah, and we've got some Derek fans here. Internet Eric. I know that name. And then Old School Colossus. Yep. Oh man, Derek's gonna be here. It's true.
Sorry.
Andrew's got a great channel. Like, everyone go check it out. I forget if I properly put links in the description. They'll be there. So we all three do. We're just here on my channel because I'm big enough to like actually make this happen. So, but
Andrew and I are kind of lazy.
Well, like, there's a weird thing about streaming and stuff on YouTube, and yeah. There you go.
That's right, attitude, Mike. Johnny boy.
Yeah, there's a John. So hey, all right. How about all that? All right. So we've got people watching, and people are here for toys talk. And Derek Hoover and Kenzo's in the house. Perfect. Mm-hmm. All right. So where's it at? So this is going to be a little awkward, guys, because, yeah, this is the first time we've all three done it, but we have slides. Everyone loves slides. All right, so we've got the little intro, and just 411, we plan on doing these kind of once a month when we can line up to talk toys. So welcome. This is sort of the pilot.
It's very non-committal, so we're old and tired, so once a month is fine.
We're all old.
We all bought these toys in the 80s.
It's 9 o'clock in Illinois, and I have coffee.
It's only 7 o'clock here on the West Coast. So
I'm here in the future. I got to tell you, it's not great. Go back to the past.
I took the 505 down Ventura into the Valley and then up into Van Nuys. And Mobius still trash. So, all right. All right.
What are you doing here?
All right, Mint with Card. If they do a good job, you guys can read, right?
Yes. If they do a good job, then my new M.A.S.K collection will all be without their card and boxes. I will free them from their plastic prisons.
I approve. Yep. And apparently in Georgia, it's 10 o'clock.
And here too, so it's dark. It's scary out there. The wolves are at the door.
Oh, no.
The wolves are at the door. The iguana has landed. All right, let's get this going.
That's how you guys. Henry's getting into werewolves, and he wants to go as Teen Wolf for Halloween.
Aw,
you were so proud of that.
Okay, I did tell you. I didn't know. It's been a long week.
Mentioned it, but
I'm very proud.
I was going to interrupt Proud Papa moment.
Hashtag Proud Papa.
Speaking of
next year it's going to be Mogwai.
My God. We have to do this for Christmas so I can tell you guys why I don't celebrate Christmas.
Looking forward.
See if I can make anyone cry. Speaking of werewolves, though, I just like it's my ex's his sister's birthday is coming up, so except the different. Yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna talk smack about her. She can't help it. She's hairy. All right. What's Nair do well. Anyway, so we'll just get into the toys. So we didn't originally plan on talking about Masters of the Universe, but they dropped the Skeletor. So Derek was all like, let's talk Masterverse. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
I love these. They just, look at there's also a Flying Fist He-Man, but okay, whatever. No, that's New Eternia Fisto. I'm a Fisto boy. Phrasing. I love Evelyn, and that is New Eternia Evelyn, I think, as well. And then the Skeletor came as a surprise. That is they're gonna be doing Masterverse Vintage Collection, I hear tell, which means I'm going to be very poor.
Yeah, yes. I would buy a vintage Skeletor. I'm kind of out of Masterverse, except for I'm cherry picking, but this Evelyn has definitely got to happen because she's super cool.
You saw her at Comic-Con and you were like, that's the one. Like, I'm team like toxic yellow Evelyn. So like all you pasty goth Evelyn fans out there, I know you're loud. I hope you're happy. But they could do a repaint.
Yeah, they definitely could. Yeah, and this is honestly because it's Masterverse New Eternia. It is I didn't grab this because I have obviously. I do encourage everyone to go look at Battle Ram blog where Adam, who is actually on the Frenzy right now opposite us. That won't happen often because that's a show I like. But there's a pic. Colin Bailey's original. I think it's Bailey. If his name isn't Colin Bailey, I apologize to the real person, the real Colin. But it's Colin something, who basically designed Evelyn using a Tila body. And the original color scheme was more like this. So she became, I think, yellow when they realized she looked a lot less like Tila if they made the skin yellow as opposed to this more flesh tone that she originally had. So this is definitely concept Evelyn. The problem is the concept was literally, we need you to reuse the Tila body with a new head. So
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised by the vintageness or this vintage subline, another sub of a sub of a subline, just because like the nature of New Eternia is that you could gussy them up with all this like special snazzy armor, but then you could strip it away and actually have like a pretty classic looking figure underneath, much like Mondo does with their figures. Like, I mean, between Lion-O, He-Man, like you can, Mondify them, but you can always strip it back and make it something a little more like recognizable. And that's what I thought they were doing. And now they're like, no. We're going this, we're doing two things at once.
Well, and my thought on that is twofold. One, they had the sculpt from that 40th anniversary 2-pack of Skeletor that eventually had to happen. So there's that. And two, I think to keep prices down for Masterverse, we're going to start seeing fewer accessories with them, which is a bummer. But I think what that means is we'll start getting more things like a vintage Skeletor, or like, we'll get a vintage Tila rather than a New Eternia Tila with lots of extra heads and hands and stuff.
Well, that's it. I mean, even the Sleep Lynn, like she's there.
Yeah.
They put on the skirt, but all the pieces are there. So I don't think there's a reason to do two. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think with Skeletor it makes sense. You need to sort of get the A-listers back on shelves every few years. So I think the Skeletor makes sense because it's been a while since we've had sort of a basic, finger quote, basic Skeletor. So this is a way to get a basic Skeletor back out on shelves. It's a sculpt they already have. He's so basic. He arm wrestled me for my pumpkin spice at Starbucks. It kind of
taught me to get my Uggs.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm definitely getting Evelyn. I might get the Skeletor. I might pass on Fisto just because, like I said, I'm cherry picking, and it's kind of just like my most favorite characters are super iconic, and I don't know that Fisto for me isn't that iconic. I'm happy with my Origins Fisto. So if Origins gives me a 2000X Battle Fist, then maybe. But
Oh, Battle Fist.
good
That
old
name.
Battle Fist. You know.
That's my grinder name. Battlefield.
There it is.
Right now.
There it is.
Swipe left, peeps. All right, and then
We've lost some subscribers. I'm so sorry.
yeah, right. No, actually, we just got. 2
Oh, we'll
more.
gain them back. Don't you worry.
Yeah, people are like this game. Anyway, hello, Jay. So I did want to chat just briefly before we move on to the other stuff we wanted to talk about, since we quickly threw a Masterverse. We don't have a new Eternia Tila or even a vintage Tila. So I threw up a bunch of different Tilas that I personally would love to see as the new Eternia or even a vintage style Tila. Because we haven't really gotten a vintage Tila even in Origins, because the face sculpt is really specifically different. So it's just my thought. So
Yeah, like I just got the Mondo Tila not long ago, and I feel like it was my first Mondo, so like I mean I kind of like had a little sticker shock, and it was it's a big diddly thing, but I mean like the looks wise, I mean they did nail it. And I did like that they did combine sort of the 2000X knee pads with this like horned crown. With she has a spear instead of this, like she has a snake staff. But you could sort of like pick and choose. So they really kind of like amalgamated quite a few looks into one. I think that's like the best of both or all the worlds.
yeah, and I just we haven't gotten a Lords of Power Tila, which is sort of lower corner with like the gold shield and the spear, and it just to me it feels like we're overdue, and it'd be really easy. And she technically needs a new head sculpt because she has like the gold helmet on under there, but other than that it's just a really simple, a new shield, a new spear. They can reuse both of those. I kind of haven't my sort of gripe with Origins for a bit has been how lazy they've been with the ladies. Like it's
Great content for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's to me like the fact that you can get content out of Origins is a little sad, because Origins is a modern toy line, and there is has been a shift over the last year and a half toward collectors.
Yeah, I mean they're not really doing even. They keep saying they're going to finish off the vintage line, much like Classics made that claim once upon a time. But I mean they're doing just the most obscure characters this past year. And I'm like, well, you could do Marlena, you could do Katrina, you could do, God, I mean, the drug chick. Like, there's so many things you could do.
We need the drug chick.
Yeah, right.
I absolutely need the drug chick.
Speaking of, I watched a Kesha video on TikTok earlier, which felt really ironic. Anyway,
Very Atlantis.
So just all three of us want, if Mattel watches this later, we just want it known, like, bitch, where's our Tilas?
Where's our Tilas? Where's our drug chick?
We need some
Exactly.
Power Tila. We need a vintage Tila. We need a cross-sell Tila. Tila.
I mean, that was my thing too. Is like when the line started with that sort of Power Lords-ish.
Oh no!
We lost
Canada's internet took him from us again.
Canada. Blame Canada. It seems like everything went wrong since Canada came along.
Damn you, Justin Trudeau.
I know.
Andrew, come back to us.
He's coming back. I see him. It's all coming. Just like Celine Dion, it's all coming back.
Oh, very good.
There we go.
There he is.
Dramatic exit.
It was so dramatic.
I was saying, oh no, when Origins started, they sort of did that sort of Power Lords style. So they had like Adam in the blue vest. They did like, kind of merman with the dangly bits over his junk. And I was hoping they would do like this kind of thing where they would do like a green goddess and do, hardcore warrior unicorn running Tila. But like they kind of just veered off into like just, the vintage toys. And that's fine. And that's where the money's at. But I still would like more of a really old, like wild, non-canon times back in the early days.
Well, and I think to me that is sort of why it's a little baffling, is because, like Wave 1 Warrior Tila technically would be really easy. They need a new head sculpt. Like, give her a sword, give her a
Yep.
the warrior shield. Like, that's only 3 new pieces of tooling. They could have just recycled that body. It just, I don't know. There seems like there's a disconnect that isn't happening with the dudes. Like, you get like 2 new boots for one character, and like we were getting 17 different characters we never got before in Origins because we've got these boots now. And so
Yeah, and that's the thing too with the
You
Princess
say
of
they're
Power. I
just
mean, they
new
keep
boots
saying they
different?
want to put more of that in, and it's like, well, you have a lot of new tooling to do if that's the case. Because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, the Princess of Power do share quite a few bodies, but not that many. There's like 3 or 4 you got to do first.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you think that's where we're probably going to see a lot of the ladies pop up is when they start, because that's inevitably going to happen, pop in 2025 because that's
I think if you look at the cartoon collection torso for Tila and Evil Lyn, like I think that's part of why the torso is constructed, where the like the breast piece of it feels weird calling it a breast piece, but like that armor.
boobies.
Yeah, they're booby armor, the little twisty snaky things.
Got to protect it.
Those are on the cartoon collection. Those are like a rubber piece that slips off, and so with that chest piece and that sort of model, they can do every Princess of Power. They would just do like their tops as like a sort of a flexible rubber armor piece, and cast a spell. Oh, sorry.
This whole conversation, it's like, just flop your top off.
Yeah,
make that money.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much Tila that we need to get that. So much. There's just a lot, and Origins is sort of one of my favorite lines right now. And I just feel like they've missed the boat in a couple key places. They could definitely course correct. And the more sort of more online they go, the more room they have to do those sort of things.
Yep.
So
yeah, because they're not beholden to retailers, so now's the time.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Any last thoughts on Tila before we go to our next slide?
I need more of her in Masterverse. I need the Havoc Sorceress, and I need that Tri-Sorceress to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Bad.
That was the stressful part of watching that last season, was how she would have a full costume change every 3 minutes. And I'm like, these all need toys. This is going to take years to get to.
You're the Tiger King meme. Like, I'm never going to financially recover.
It's too many. Look at all my real estate. I'm like, gone.
Yeah. My portfolio, screwed.
We just need a Tila room. Like, welcome over here. This is the Tila room. There's just a wall.
I wish. God, I wish.
And this is a good final thought from
yes.
with Card. Like, agreed. Like, we're to the point where they've done everything. And I get giving the love letter to Axel because so many of those are his characters, but
yeah.
We're to the point where they're almost out of Snake Men, and it's like, that to me is ridiculous because there are enough Snake Men that we could get 2 or 3 years of solid releases if they had spaced them out better. So
yeah.
Speaking of which, my Terror hit my Big Bad Toy Store this morning. So for everyone who said that wasn't going to happen,
you're part of the problem.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on from Tila. And I thought we were done, but we're not. Demo Man comes out next week, and I'm super excited about this. So,
yeah, he looks.
I know not everybody is, but it's a Mark Taylor sketch from before Masters of the Universe for a different toy line. I know there is misinformation floating around the internet that he was early Skeletor. He was not. Again, Battle Ram blog has actual great video on YouTube that breaks that down. But it's a Mark Taylor character. And I love anytime we get something from early pre-actual release. Yeah, pre-filmation is my jam. But I also just love anytime we get some of Mark Taylor, like the characters he created and he brought that he drew elements from to create the line. I don't know. I love Demo Man. So anyway.
I don't know how you aren't excited for that. The Royal You. I know we all three are.
Yeah, right. We're nerds. We love it. But
I don't know how anybody's griping about this. Like, why? Like, this is a rad demon, toxic green, bearded Viking Demon Man. I'm not going to defend it when it's so
And
clearly
this is
awesome.
what I
You're like,
for
here it
me,
is.
this is honestly what I really wanted Origins to be those first 2 years. I wanted like an assortment that was like 2 vintage characters that were full, like Stinkor, Faker. Like give us those, and then throw in Demo Man. Throw in an actual Lords of Power Tila. Come on, Mattel, throw me a bone. Anyway,
Yeah.
Throw me a freaking
And this is very
bear.
much in that. Yeah, I need more Horde, definitely.
Yeah.
I was Team Horde. But yeah, with Demo Man, I mean, this was very much the. I mean, there was the accusations of He-Man ripping off Conan, which,
right.
true or not, legally or not. So let's just, my lawyers here in the room, legally it's not Conan. But this was very much that. Like, this was like Fire and Ice, Frazetta, Barbarians, and like Dangerous. And that's what I really liked about early He-Man, very
Right.
much like I looked Golden Girl, where like, it's all very like, it's dumb, but it had this really dark undertone that I really quite enjoyed. And I was like, I mean, I was 4 or 5 looking at this stuff, but I was like, the danger. Like, that's what really drew me to it.
And the whole Conan thing, it's really important to know that like the Conan we think of that they were finger quote ripping off was the sort of Roy Thomas Marvel Conan, which in a lot of ways was ripped off from Alfredo Alcala's early work in the Philippines. And then, of course, he later helped develop Masters of the Universe, like the mini comic portion of it. So I think when people are like, it's ripping off Conan, it's really important to know that Conan before Marvel Comics was not the Conan we know and we're used to because of the Arnold Schwarzenegger film was created basically through Frazetta, through Alcala, through all of these sort of fantasy artists. That's not really there wasn't that concept of them. So when people are like, oh, it's a ripoff, it's like technically Conan came from the same well that all of this came from. So anyway.
Yeah. The John Carter of it all. Like,
yeah, the John Carter of it all. All right. And now to PulseCon 2024. So I'm just gonna disclosure, I cherry pick classified G.I. Joe. I only get the characters I like as a kid from my childhood. I'm not all in, so I'm really light on G.I. Joe. And Star Wars fan, but specific. So just heads up, we're not gonna spend a lot of time on PulseCon for me.
Nope.
But we're not even starting there. We're starting with Derek and Andrew's jam.
Yeah. Did I say
we
earlier
both
that I'm going to become a poor? Because that's what's going to happen.
become.
I'm circling the drain.
Yeah, I'm like 2 paychecks. I'm on the straight. Like,
one bad week. One bad week.
Honest to God, if someone Spider-Man's my week, I'm done. Like, I adore these. I adore these for the packaging. That's the I mean, the figures are. I mean, Titania, however you want to say it, and Beyond are fantastic. But I mean, like, it's the packaging. Titania. Okay. Okay. Magneto.
Modesty strip. Very good.
But yeah, no, but I mean, this is going to be a bit of a running theme for my kind of PulseCon thing where like I'm super into nouveau retro right now, where we take retro lines and redo them or like add new characters in a retro style. And so I looked at this, I'm like, and I didn't even think of it, but I was like, wow, this is great. I would love if they actually just did Secret Wars, if they pulled Superpowers and just reissued some old characters and then just kept the line going like they do with Ghostbusters, like they do with Star Wars, like they do with Transformers. I mean, that would be, granted, another wing Marvel Legends team would need to branch out on, but I mean, Secret Wars is not, it doesn't have the same belovedness as Superpowers, but if you brought it back, I think that could really hook some people in.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as a kid, I was Superpowers and Secret Wars was like, oh, they don't have what I want, so I guess I'll take this Baron Zemo, whoever that is. He's purple and pink. Yeah, my only 2 Secret Wars figures as a kid were Baron Zemo and Kang.
Woof.
I know, right?
All right.
And nobody had capes, and Captain never shield. It was a strange line. Like,
No, he has his shield now. Finally, it only took 40 years, but all right.
yeah. And it's a
And
cool
this
looking
is-
shield too. I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is a good point by Aaron. Like this Wolverine, I don't have any Wolverines. I don't necessarily want any, but if I were going to get a Wolverine, this would be the one.
Yeah. No, I dig him. I dig him in the brown and tan. The last Wolverine I had, like I had a period where I was all in on Marvel Legends like years ago when it first launched. And that Wolverine, aside from the issue it had with its claws, was pretty good. But there came a point, there was so much Marvel Legends, and I was at the time going through some changes and stuff financially. So I sold off some stuff. I whittled down the collection. I never came back to Marvel Legends, but what they're doing with these retro lines, like the Spider-Man vintage cards, the Fantastic Four, like Toy Biz vintage cards, and these, like I'm snatching them up here and there. I love this Wolverine because it's the brown and tan. It just looks so good, so good. And Iron Man's got roller skates.
Yeah, really quick mint on card. Exactly. I might pick a few of these up just for the cardedness of them. So.
Yep. I mean, that's most of the charm. Because I mean, a lot of these figures we've already gotten, so it's not.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't new kind of thing.
I do want the roller skates though.
Yeah.
Which
also they.
Oh, sorry.
They showed Tony Stark on the shield, and I'm like, that's Rhodey. At that time, that's Rhodey. Let's not erase Rhodey, Iron Man.
But really quick, here's the most important thing about those roller skates. What Marvel character can we think of that would fit him perfectly?
Dazzler.
Secret War. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who was supposed to have a figure who's coming up on my channel. Yeah, Mystique and Dazzler were supposed to, which again, I'm glad they actually went with Titania. Strictly because I mean we've got Dazzler, we've got Mystique, we're good.
It's very not
time we got a new character. Not at all. God forbid.
We'll do a woman in the line, and it's not the only one you remember from the line when you were children. So yeah, I will probably I definitely want her for my shelf of super cool female figures. And I'll probably get Wolverine just so I can have one. He's iconic. And Iron Man, I need the roller skates. So
Yeah. Not like loungewear Caucasian fellow?
Angry Disco Man?
I mean, like, I could probably head swap them and, like, turn them up. Yeah, and, they're going to probably reuse that for an Iron Fist or something. So
that'd be great custom for, like, douchebag Gambit. Like, throw a scarf around him and he's just, like, out, like, with Rogue on a date.
Gambit? No, just kidding.
Douchey night on the town Gambit?
Yeah. Just riddled with chlamydia.
He would be perfect as Dick on a date, Dick Grayson, for that era of Teen Titans where, like, every time he went out, he had to put a wig on and a disguise.
I'm going to need a Z-Pack in the morning, Dick Grayson.
Yeah, right? All right. So Secret Wars.
I mean, I don't know.
Final thought.
I wouldn't know.
Move to the next slide before the dick talk gets too deep.
Yeah. Marvel Legends. I mean, this won that little panel for them for sure. I mean, they had some other reveals. I mean, for me, like, my Marvel Legend collecting is like very X-Men, very 90s specific. So I'm all like, I have these 7 characters I want, and if they're not there, I'm mad. But this kind of saved the show.
All right, Derek is silent for once. So I only had one G.I. Joe pick, and Andrew had the same as well. So here we are.
Yeah.
And all I can say is I like Zorana and Xandar. Like those were that was when I really got into G.I. Joe as a kid, was when I saw Zorana. I'm like, she's like Trash from Return of the Living Dead and Cyndi Lauper all rolled into one, which is exactly where I was at that age. Let's not break that down psychologically because that's a mess, but I'm saying. So I'm excited about, and to me, he's one of the last must-have from vintage that they haven't done. So I'm really excited about Xandar.
Yeah, I didn't like him. I don't know why. Like, I found Zartan was fine. Zarana I quite liked. But I felt, for what, even though Zarana was there and they were twins, like, I found like Xandar kind of cheapened them somehow. And I don't know why. And I kind of held this deep shame all these years. And then I saw this figure and I was like, hello. It's very like inappropriate crush, like, like my connection with Shipwreck, where I'm like, oh, like,
Right.
I didn't realize they were so dreamy. And like, and then they're like, oh, you can take off a shirt. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, is this made for me?
And she was like, I'm in.
Just for like,
Oh my!
not canon reasons.
Right.
Yeah, he's dreamy. That's the end of it. I mean, like, and they know what they're doing. I mean,
like,
Emily's one of me, so she's
Right.
like, I know how to get him.
And she's like, we need that Andrew in Canada.
Yep.
And maybe after today, maybe you'll become an influencer, and then you can be a shill.
yeah.
So I am.
stuff.
I'm pretty excited. And I've been doing a lot of research into like the early GI Joe. And I I bought Scarlet because I needed a Mon Mothma, and I got the Baroness because she was just the adamant shrinker, and she was Wonder Woman's, villain, Baroness von Gunther.
Oh, for
And
sure.
and then Lady J, because we all need, a lesbian figure. I mean, the ball cap. Let's just own it. And then CoverGirl.
She's sporty. She's sporty.
But it was just like Zorana, Xandar, like, and that was when Joe got really weird in sci-fi, and like it was right when Star Wars was dying for me. And then we got a USS Flag, and I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm into GI Joe. So it was just, and I don't know, he's one of the ones that it was like him, Chuckles, Zorana, and Jinx, and that was, and then the Gunko, was it Gunko who had the dress marine outfit?
Yeah.
I
feel like that wave, that was it. Like, they were done
and
after
Crystal
that.
Ball, of course. I need Crystal Ball still. But I don't talk about Crystal Ball because people get really offended if you like Crystal Ball. So.
I mean, they're making Raptor, and I mean, he looks great. So,
oh my god,
maybe Crystal Ball could be okay.
Well, and Crystal Ball was created by Stephen King and his son Owen, so it's got that going for it.
It'll come back around eventually.
He's a little politically incorrect these days. I mean, he's Romanian. Is it Romanian? Yeah, Romanian. So they have to clean that origin up a little bit because, but otherwise. But anyway, Andrew and I are Team Xandar. So I can't wait to. I mean, I almost gestured to the shelf. It's all packed up because we're moving, but I can't wait for him and like Zorana. And my chuckle said that the love triangle that the three of them had in my play, and I mean, like, it was a triangle, like in all the ways that could be a triangle. I mean, it was flowers in the attic. It was like,
wait, who was banging who?
All of them, basically. Like, but they were all
everybody
not all at the same time, but they were couples. It was like the last time I played GI Joe as a kid, it was Xandar and Chuckles were getting married on the USS Flag, and Zorana and the Baroness and a bunch of and Raptor and Crystal Ball interrupted it when the preacher said, "Was there anyone here who objects?" And then they kidnapped Chuckles, and that's where it ended. So,
just for the straight fellows watching now, I need a little story time. Is that like, I thought girls played with Barbies where they were like, we're making tea and we're shopping and whatever. And then I go to like friends' place when I was younger, and like they're just like they're just Pound Town. I mean, the Barbies were just having sex nonstop. And I was like, I mean, I'm like 5, and I'm like, what? Like, I mean, I have my perception of what girls' toys were is not at all what it actually was.
I mean, like, all my children, One Life to Live, General Hospital, The Edge of Night.
100%.
That was what
Ken was just
I read VC Andrews way too young, and I'm just saying.
Yeah, Ken was just like the F-boy of the whole toy room. Everybody had a turn on him.
I had a friend who had Alan. She had like an old Alan from that her mom had given her, and like Alan was untouched. Oh, yeah. So everybody wanted Alan. Anyway.
pure
Alan.
Alan.
Because it's Michael Cera.
Yeah, I mean, it was just,
Ugh.
like people are all like, "Oh, girls' toys." It's like it gets pretty rough and tumble with the girls' toys. Anyway,
Yes, it does.
I mean, I'd recommend Bela Town on TikTok for those who are on there because Bela he breaks it down with the Barbies. So anyway, it's like Springer meets Days of Our Lives meets like an argument in the check cashing place behind the.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it's good.
I've
Also,
seen
I,
one.
Drama.
I think I sent, but you don't have TikTok, Derek, because you're old. Anyway, so yeah, we're
Yeah,
all Team Xandar. And Derek, are you Team Xandar? Doesn't matter.
I think it's cool looking. I'm barely dipping my toes in the
Okay.
Joe's waters. Those retro card ones like Duke and Scarlet. I'm playing clearance chicken, but I got a backup plan, and if I miss out, the retro card ones I really like. But some of the standard classifieds I do want to get. Like Raptor looks really cool.
Yeah.
I need to track down a Chuckles just because he's a funny guy in a Hawaiian shirt. That's kind of my brand. And I need to find CoverGirl. I still need to find Peoria's own CoverGirl.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, she's wearing too much makeup. It's like, girl, did you see CoverGirl when we were kids? It's an improvement.
Don't you talk about my CoverGirl?
Yeah. She was
Anyway.
rough.
Anyway. And then just so that we can recognize Canada, since we have a Canadian on the, it's Canadian. Yeah, it's Canadian. Apparently,
always had.
G.I. Joe's had a Canadian flag on them.
It is
Who
true.
would've thought?
We didn't do the whole Action Force where we actually like created a new brand. We just sort of slapped Canadian flags on everything.
Yeah, right.
And did the name move from being G.I. Joe to G.I. Joe? Huh?
I'm not responding to that.
Not a great joke. Not a great one.
Don't pretend that didn't happen, Derek. We're gonna move on to Star Wars.
They can't all be bangers.
It's true. So what you will see here is this is pretty much what my Star Wars collection. Oh wait.
Some of us can at least admit when the joke doesn't land, and if you get that, good for you.
It's like a secret garden of innocent delight.
Secret garden, damn it.
It's like a secret garden of innocent delight where we're all festive.
I love that for us.
Speaking of Star Wars, so it may look like the same Luke. It's not. It's a vintage collection Luke, and then Black Series Luke, and a Black Series Leia.
So he's not all 90s beefy chest?
Yeah, it's not. So
I wish they would.
And so just so that everyone can kind of understand Alice, because you're obviously watching stuff on my channel, you kind of care about that much about what I think. Right now, my Star Wars collection is vintage collection of the original trilogy, especially ones that are from the original movie, and then Black Series Leia, and in this case, the Luke. So I really liked these. I think these look good. This is the best A New Hope Leia the Black Series has given us. Probably ever will give us until, 3 years from now when we're celebrating 50 years of 50 years of Star Wars. Sorry. 50 years of Star Wars. But, everyone's like, this Mark Hamill isn't quite right. They'll get it right in time for 50 years. So this is...
Calm down.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
they're going to give us these toys.
There's plenty more coming. Yeah, they're going to use this body. The body's really good. They'll just redo the head a couple times.
And I think for a vintage collection, it's the best Farm Boy Luke we've gotten in that scale, going back to 2004 when they did it. It was called the Original Trilogy Collection. I have that one. This big bulky shirt. This one is just, it's good. I mean, I think the vintage collection has, and I'm a little biased because I have had a chat or two with Emily, not Emily, but the Star Wars Emily, and we chatted a little bit about sort of her aesthetic. I want to say aesthetic as far as designing these, and she wants them to look right. She knows when we don't like them. She knows we don't like them, and she doesn't like them either when they don't look right. So. Without trying to sound like a show, I feel like she's really tried, and I feel like this one is as close as we'll probably get, because it's really hard whenever you're doing 3D sculpting on somebody's face from 50 years ago, and you got no scan. So
Yeah, I mean, these two characters specifically, they've long had a problem. The only good Leia was like the Kenner 12-inch figure. There's not been like a good Leia since, and my current fave is the figure arts one. But this might replace it. Like we'll see what it looks like in person, but it's really good.
so
No,
this
she
is
looks
the
really cool.
hair. Quickly.
Oh, the hair. That looks like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. So this is
Like they did good.
So I still have to reroute her hair, but yeah, like this one's a pretty good likeness. But I also feel like 12-inch scale is a lot easier to do a good likeness. So anyway,
True.
so she's anyway. Yeah. So I've got
The best
several
part
of those.
about-
That was just handy. So
I was gonna say the best part about the Luke is you can finally make those Corvette summer customs.
exactly, and we need that. Well, you really can't though because we don't have a proper Annie Potts figure to.
Ah, damn it!
Oh yeah.
Because we still don't have a good Janine.
Well, we would if Hasbro would like
Never will.
not be a dick.
I don't know if it's Hasbro's fault so much as just Ghostbusters being such a difficult product or difficult franchise. Like it's so weirdly niche. Like you've got the people who only like real Ghostbusters, and then you've got the people who only like the movie, and then you've got the people who only like it when it's dudes from like 50 years ago. So
Yeah. We'll see what happens in New York. Ghostbusters will supposedly be there. I'm betting it's just for the HasLab, but I mean, if they were like, "Hey, Mondo's making money, why don't we get on that?" I would welcome that too.
True.
I thought I like the O-ring Ghostbusters. Like if you can't tell, I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan. But I really like those O-rings, and I really am this close to buying those. It's just until we get moved, I'm trying not to buy anything. But I really like those, and I kind of low-key hope that like there's an O-ring playset as the HasLab with like an O-ring Sigourney Weaver and Annie Potts and some demon dogs and
That'd be rad.
They won't happen because it's the one thing I was like, well, I would love Ghostbusters toys if this happened, so it definitely won't happen.
No.
Derek, you're not doing Star Wars at all these days, are you?
Not really. There's one Star Wars figure I wanted when I saw it, and it came back and it was gone. It was like Black Series style Boba Fett on a retro style card. So like a 6-inch scale. I wanted to grab that. I missed out on him. Maybe I'll track him down. I'm not a huge Star Wars collector in regards to like toys, but like I like vintage looking things like posters, shirts. Henry, my boy, is starting to get into Star Wars. He's obsessed with Chewbacca and BB-88. So we'll see what ends up making its way to Hoover. Excuse me, the Hoover household, as it were.
Are you okay, Derek? Are you okay?
Yeah. Why? What just happened? Was it like? Did it sound awful? Did it sound like I was dying?
It sounded like a ghost just got busted in your throat, or busted in your throat. I don't know.
Well,
Semantics.
I'm drinking out of a
What is that green
Ghostbusters
stuff?
thing.
Yeah.
What's the green? Don't worry about it.
And then
Don't
Andrew,
worry about what the green stuff is.
you picked the Leia, right?
Yeah. Just because I've got a small, like in my like major shelf, I've got like sort of like one shelf for Star Wars, and that's like SH Figure Arts. But this one, again, I mentioned I might do that. Otherwise, I'm very team retro. Like it took me a long time to get the entire vintage collection.
Yeah.
And now it's more like adding figures to that. So be it through customizers, be it through Hasbro actually like doing, one every 3 years, like I'm more interested in that. So, and that's the thing, I kind of I like the suck. I like the charm of the old toys more, and they're kind of timeless in that sense.
Yeah, I kind of have been moving that direction. I for me wonder if some of my lack of enthusiasm over Star Wars has been just this focus on realism and it looking just like the actors and actress, it's not very toyetic to me. So
No,
I can
and
be wrong.
that's where there's so many things. I'm kind of going backwards in a sense where like even like Trick or Treat Studios are doing Toxic Crusaders, and they're doing like they're going to redo the vintage figures, but then also make like wave 2 and 3 that they were never made before. And I was like, this is my jam. Like this is like
Yeah.
absolutely like, and I don't even like Toxic Crusader, but I'm like, gimme.
Yeah, I just the sort of the style and sort of the same when I think you sent me some of the when we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
the roots of the ravishing reporter April and sort of other playmates places she could be in.
Streetwalker April. Yep.
Yeah, right. Well, and just the fact that it looks like that maybe came from Swan's Crossing too. So
Mm-hmm.
hey Todd, technically not for coloring stuff. Coloring stuff will kind of continue on. Um, the three of us, myself, Derek, and Andrew, are going to be trying to do one retro cavalcade rural juror
Okay.
a month on Thursdays when possible through the end of the year, and then we're going to figure it out. But there will be a regular monthly live stream with the three of us just talking what we like in toys and try not to be negative Nancy's.
Because we're a secret garden.
Yeah, we want this to be your secret garden of joyful toyness, where like you can just be free from all the negativity and toxicity.
Carrots, tomatoes,
radish. It's a little
all grown with
spicy
love.
and peppery. So anyway, so that's Star Wars. So let's talk, and we're sort of running a bit off schedule because the three of us, but whatever. So let's get sort of to the main thing we originally wanted to talk about before PulseCon had some stuff we liked. The announcements of the loyal subjects last week. Let me see if I can sound official here. Last week, the loyal subjects out of Los Angeles announced that they would be taking over several properties that they've licensed from Hasbro, known up until this point for mediocre Turtles toys. These little doohickey Masters of the Universe things. But also some fun aliens and monstery stuff. Like I've never bought any of these products, but it's always the stuff where I see it and I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to have. Like I kind of like this stuff. The aliens are fun. It's cute. The horror thing, I kind of need the Jason. Because we got so few Friday the 13th toys that aren't NECA, and I had a Michael Myers NECA figure that shattered, and I can't do it. It fell off it shattered like glass. I was just like, my soul, my poor Michael Myers. Anyway,
Poor boy.
I turned into an old New York lady for a second there. I'm like, my Michael Myers shattered. Anyway. So.
Yeah, loyal subjects. I mean, this was their bread and butter when they first hit the scene. All these blind boxes of these and I had the He-Man ones. I had, I want to say a few Thundercats and something else, but they were good. Like they were the plastics. I think they used the same plastic. It's still that kind of janky plastic, but the paint was really good. The articulation was stiff. Like they were fun.
And then they started doing sort of normal-ish turtle figures, which I mean, you become a toy company, you get a Turtles license. It's just how it works. And
as soon as you go to the bank, they're like, "Here you go. Here's your turtle license." And you're like, "Oh,
yeah, right." And
my first loan in a Turtles license.
Oh my god!
You get a new checking account. You get a Turtles license.
Yeah, I mean, once I hit so many subscribers, I think I get a Turtles license. Yeah, it's how it works. Welcome to the toy world. Your turtle maker. And they started doing those turtle toys, and I heard really mixed, about the quality, about just the sculpting and whatnot. And then this happened. They did Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake, which both are my jam. More so Strawberry Shortcake, and if you're a subscriber of the channel, you know this. I literally did 2 shorts the last 2 days with Miss Shortcake.
2 shortcakes.
Well, one was her, and the other was her little friend, Almond Tea, from China, with her panda, Marza Panda.
Oof.
I know, right? Gotta love an 80s pun. But what I will say was when they first announced these, I had that sort of, oh my God. I was like Adam in chat earlier. Oh my God. No, wait, that's me rebuttaling his sadness. Here we go. Yeah, so there's this, right? And that was how I was when they first announced these, but I have actually picked up strawberry shortcake and rainbow bright items from them, and the quality is really good. Um, is it 80s Kenner quality? No, we will never get back there unless we're spending
No.
$500 for a toy.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the reality. I think a lot of us need to. I myself still need to let go of that idea that the toys are going to be as well made as they were in the 80s, just because you can't without it being, unless you want to spend money. And even Mondo, like, their last few Motu and things have had some quality issues I've had to go in and fix, and that's at a premium quality with higher plastics. But I've really liked the quality of these. So it
And
makes me
price.
hopeful.
The price is
It
right
is
too. I mean,
not
like they were
expensive,
not
is it?
like expensive. No.
Yeah.
And I imagine like,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, like I don't know how far they're gonna go. Well, the weird thing is like they've got like, I know for like Rainbow, actually for both of them, like they have like sort of like a little PVC collection. They have sort of like a mini figure that could go with your 6-inch in theory, and then they got a recreation of like the big like beefy ones, and
Yeah,
they're all
and
good. Like they all have that 80s quality to it.
yeah, I mean, the doll herself, like she's got more articulation than Kenner gave them. And I'll switch back to Rainbow Bright. We never got at this scale, so that was what makes it more exciting to me a little bit. Is that we're finally going to get some Rainbow Bright characters that are in the same scale with Strawberry Shortcake. It's one of the reasons I didn't do Rainbow Bright as a kid. Bitch was too big, and she was just like a rag doll. Or then it was a mess. They didn't even have PVC like the little minis to go with my miniature collection, but the loyal subjects fixed that. So I don't buy blind box toys. I think they're stupid. However, I have bought a few of the Strawberry Shortcake blind boxes, and I got a Purple Pie Man. And I'll throw
The best villain.
I filmed it on opening because that's what you do when you have YouTube. You film everything you unbox, and then you decide, do I feel like editing it? So I've been really happy with the quality of these. So Andrew, have you picked up any of these yet?
So before these were announced, I went whole hog on Boss Fight Studio Strawberry Shortcake, and they are incredible. Strawberry Shortcake herself, her hat is too heavy. It's made of this like very dense, heavy plastic. So there's some fiddling with that, but otherwise the other characters are amazing. And then the two villains are coming, I think, next month or the month after. So I'm hard into that. But I did pick up the Rainbow Bright because I was getting one for a friend, and I was like, well, I might as well get it and see what the story is. And again, too, because the size is right, the price is right.
Yeah.
And I like just having just her like on a shelf somewhere. But was quite surprised by her just because, yeah, like I got the Beetlejuice from Loyal Subjects, and it was ass. Like I just threw it in the trash. I didn't bother selling it, or I'm just like into recycling, back to the planet with you. Like I just, turn into microplastics to fill my lungs. Thank you. But because the figures are the boys' toys, I've got concerns about another brand we're going to talk about, but for the girls' toys, I think they're doing real good stuff.
And then I know Derek has not picked up any yet, but I will say Tickled Pink is about to hit my pile of loot.
I may buy that specifically for co-host Jason, since
so I'm just letting you know that allegedly that will be hitting store shelves pretty soon, and I will send you a
toy
link.
Or
Does he know it's
I want to get the Rainbow Brights for Shauna, actually.
Does he know it's a doll, Derek, and the Tickled Pink is not something else?
Oh, it's gonna be something else.
Hello, Alex.
Do not pick that thing up.
It's lovely to see
Covered in slime.
Right? Yeah. Wrong toy line.
Gross.
Speaking of Slimer, that dude I knew in college that we called Slimer tried to friend me on Facebook. No.
Oh no.
No. Sorry.
I deleted Facebook for that very reason. Like, no.
Oof.
I like when Facebook is like, here's some people you may know, and it's like, no.
No thanks.
No. There's a reason
I
may know them and have never friended them. Stop being dirty. So anyway, with that said, I am hopeful for these two lines because they've done really well with Strawberry Shortcake and Rainbow Bright, which are two 80s lines, and which do have really specific demographics, old people, because we know that there are not a lot of there are a lot of moms buying these for their little kids, um, and grandmas and aunts and stuff. Like, oh, I had those as a kid. Here you go. Um, but mostly the strawberry shortcake is, like being, and Rainbow Bright is being bought by people our age, our demographic. Um, so that makes me hopeful because that means that, to me anyway, they spent a little extra time to get those two lines right, knowing the market for them. And that makes me hopeful for these two lines because the market for these two lines are not, you know, 4 to like 12-year-olds anymore. It's
No.
25 to 70-year-olds. So
Yeah.
Well, I think they might have struck gold, and and this is where like Super 7 they might yet do a gem line, and I think that's probably more where I'll probably focus my attention. But like, I don't know if they know. I don't know if most people here even know like that Integrity Toys, which is like a high-end doll line with like bitchy faces, very expensive, very high detailed. They all look like bitches, like all of them, every one of them. But like,
A little bitchy.
but that's the style, and that's how it
It
is.
just
But
makes
like
them
they made
so
a gem
hot.
line. They're so hot. The perky nipples, damn.
got
Um,
pizzazz.
synergy with these rock hard nipples, like. But they
It's
had a
showtime.
doll line for I want to say like at least 10 years, maybe 12, maybe more, to the point where like they kept on trying to cancel the line, and the fans were like, "No, here's several $1,000s more a month." Like
No.
the fans went crazy. They had there was no shortage of money. They all bought like 3, 4, or 5 of each doll that were themselves $200 a piece.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
ludicrous. So I mean, like I think Loyal Subjects is going to come in for like a big surprise. And again, anyone else who picks up this license is going to be like, "Holy cow!" Like girls don't get the same coverage the boys do. I mean, like you're looking at another toy video with people without beards for a change, but I mean, like we all focus on the boy brand, but like Monster High girls, Gem girls, those Barbies that were from Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn that sold out like in 5 minutes on Big Bad Toy Store, like they're crazy. They're very quiet, but they're crazy, and they'll get you money. Like they'll make the lowest subjects a lot of money.
Well, I think, and also with Gem, what I will say is Gem surprisingly has a lot of crossover. I know a lot of, I don't mean
Mhm.
the girls, the gays, and the theys. Yeah, we're all on board with this. But I know a lot of like, what are we calling them this week? We're not on X, so I can say cis het white dude. A lot of the cis het white dudes are into Gem because Gem
Yeah.
was sort of an action, like like the dolls, of course, were not when we were when we were kids. They were not oriented and not they were not action oriented toys, but the cartoon was very adventure actiony. So it's like boys, I think, really enjoyed that I mean, Derek, you did an entire episode where like,
Oh yeah.
it was you and like two very duty dudes and like
Yeah.
wait, two very dudes. Anyway,
Duty dude.
anyway,
That's a little too Cosby. Dude
yeah, that's a
dude.
little, yeah.
Yes, two dudes. I mean, yeah, it's 3 white 40-something dudes that are all straight talking about this stuff. But
And
I
enjoying
liked
it.
it more than them, and I watched it probably more than them. But we all three agreed, like, no, this was a show that, there was an angle to draw, the boys in as well for the cartoon. The toy line was very clearly had girls in mind.
Yeah.
Wasn't really geared towards boys a whole lot, but that cartoon, it was a regular Saturday viewing for me because it had action in it, and that makes sense. I mean, Christy Marks was kind of the number one creator on that show, and they pulled her over from GI Joe, so it makes sense that it had kind of that infusion with it. So yeah, the fact that two guys that barely watched it, as opposed to me who watched everything, could look at it and say, yeah, no, this definitely had a side to it that was for boys and had an action appeal to it and a sci-fi appeal to it as well. Really says something, especially like 30, 40 years later. So I think it's gonna do very well, especially because there's no way this is going to be clocking in at the same price point as Integrity Toys, as awesome as those were. I don't think it's going to clock in at like $2, $3 a figure. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see even more popularity with this because it's going to be a lower price point. So we'll see how this goes. I got high hopes for this one.
Mhm.
Well, and I have sort of this is what they've revealed. Obviously, we're just getting
Right.
Gem, right? But looking at this, to me, this is like $29.99 easy, and I would pay
Yeah.
$29.99 for this without blinking and
Oh, yeah.
without feeling like they were overcharging. Like you're getting a full doll, action figure.
I got a cat situation.
Thank you, GI Joe. But like you're getting a comb, you're getting the Jerrica outfit, you're getting like the concert. You're like they are doing sort of there are surprises inside the stall, like where you punch out the like compartments, and then you can get extra things with the strawberry shortcake.
Is it Jerica's head? Because I have concerns about that. Like, I need a blonde, boring, mousy white girl
right?
to pop on that body. Or yeah, because you have to buy two because you have one Jerica. But I'm like,
Right.
where's the blonde girl?
Yeah,
maybe-
you see the Jerica outfit, but where's
Okay, hear me out. Look at that comb. What is that comb? That's not a typical doll comb. That's a put hot water in her hair and watch it turn color.
Oh, that
Oh my
would be
god, that'd be incredible.
This is not confirmed. This is my theory, but that comb is way less like comb your doll's hair because hair play is fun, and
I
more.
wonder if
of,
they
like,
do without
that's-
the makeup too. Like the big pink, like shark
Mhm.
eyes, like would go away too under like cold water. That would be
Yeah,
incredible.
That would be super, and also very
It
like
changes the shit.
it would appeal to
Mhm.
the kids and the 40-year-olds. Like it's got.
Oh no,
all the-
color change is still popular. Henry loves his color.
Oh, yeah.
Color change.
Yeah.
Hot Wheels. And my niece Jules loves anytime something changes, like a little unicorn toys or whatever. If it changes colors, she's all about it. So
Yeah, and because that was what I thought too. I'm like, that's because the vintage Hasbro doll, like the hair was blonde in a way where you could hide the pink under the cap. Yeah, and then she could go like be a newsie with the little cap on afterwards. But
Christian Bale and the kid from Doogie
yeah,
Howser.
right.
One other thing I would love to see on it is that the old gems came with like a cassette that played one of the songs from the show. And I would love if they had like some kind of like barcode or whatever you could scan your phone on the packaging, and it would just you could just download like a song from the original show. And there's a few Misfit songs that are bangers. Like I would love them on my phone still.
And it's possible that the back of that ticket has like a barcode, or we've got the film strip. Like there's it looks fun. Like they put some thought into this. Like again, like the primary audience for this is old people, but it feels like they threw some things in here so that it's a good gift to give a kid to try to get them into it. So I think in that respect, they're thinking ahead, and how to sort of bring kids into this vintage. And I think something like Gem will translate better for kids than, say, I don't know, like some of the other stuff that hasn't caught on with kids, just because it's like she's
Even,
like she
even
could
Star
be
Wars. I mean,
yeah,
like kids don't like Star Wars. They might, or even Transformers. Like every generation has their own Transformers or Star Wars, and it's the one that they grew up with, not ours. So, and that's fair, because I mean we're seeing that with Transformers, where they're showing stuff from like early 2000s, and people are going nuts for it, and all of us old people are like, "What? That crap? Like it's truck, not monkey."
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't. And next slide, I put, and this is just in an ideal world where we can afford all the things and they can make all the toys we want. This is sort of my ideal lineup for a Gem and the Holograms line through.
That would be great.
The loyal subjects.
Yep.
It's all covered. Like, I mean, I guess
just
they could give
that
it a
guitar.
Mm-hmm.
you
And
know,
Synergy and Rio with that stupid shirt.
Well, that's the other thing. What I like about that doll is it looks like they designed it from this Hasbro art.
Yeah,
Like even the toys were sort of half cartoon, half toyetic, and didn't quite match the art. But that doll, 100% to me, looks like they designed it with this really iconic art in mind. So
yeah, I mean the material Gem's dress is made of has always eluded me. It looks like it does not breathe. It looks like it's plastic, but it's like that's Gem, and that was the '80s too. I mean, like it didn't have to be comfortable; you just had to look good.
Yep, there were a lot of prom dresses made with that material. My friend had one.
What is that?
That material, and it was copper. The top
Mylar.
was copper, and the bottom was like turquoise, and they did it like in ruffles, but it was that material.
Ugh.
And then it ripped in the middle of prom. And she didn't realize it because it ripped down the back. And it wasn't until she did her little spin to Black Cat by Janet Jackson. And anyway, that's the story for today. But, I still laugh when I hear Black Cat. We were frenemies. Anyway, we talked about a man tonight. And so, anyway, this is for me the dream lineup.
Yep.
No,
And I mean, I've been saying this more in my channel more and more too, where we're kind of getting tired of the Batmans and the Leonardos and the He-Mans and all that, like where we kind of want like we want cops, we want visionaries, we want Gem, we want Inhumanoids. Like we're kind of looking for like what else is out there. Like there's 7 He-Man lines happening right now. There's 47 Turtles lines. Boring. But you throw this out there and it really like shoots people, like, you know, the interest goes way up.
Oh yeah.
I also, you know, and again, just my thoughts. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong if I am. I feel like part of the reason kids aren't necessarily attaching to things like Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe Classified is we are way too emotionally invested. And this is a royal we, because I don't have I have got cats. But we're too I mean, I did this to my niece. I would send her like strawberry shortcake and yeah, her favorite Star Wars toy that I sent her was a Rey doll from Force Awakens. She liked Rey because that was her Star Wars. But I feel like something like Gem, there's an attachment. There's a really rabid fan base, but it's not as intense. The lore is not as intense. It's not 40 years of like really deep, intense lore.
Yeah.
Like
and less gatekeeping.
Yeah, there's and I do, you know, a considerable amount of Gem content on this channel, coloring so far. What I have found is the Gem fans are so welcoming and so friendly and so nice.
Yes. So fun story. There was a Gem Con. I think one of the first years I moved to Toronto, and it just happened to be here. And so a friend of mine, we went to it. I was wildly hungover. Like, I mean, I got 2 hours of sleep. I went to this Gem Con. I was like in the burbs. I'm like, what am I doing? And they all knew it. Like, they all travel city. Like, they all know each other. They know each other for years. And on top of that, and I've never seen anything like this. The cast of Gem was in, like, they weren't in the green room. They were like with the fans. They were having lunch with them. They knew their names. They knew, you know, oh, how's your daughter? Is she still sick? Like, they talk to their fans all the time. They sit with them. They, you know, meet with them all the time. And the best part is, like, I think I actually went back for day 2, and Samantha Newark, like the speaking voice of Gem, was all like, all right, what's going on after this? We're going downtown. We're getting wasted. We're going to strip club. And she's like, let's go. And it's in Gem's voice. And I was like, can you do my voicemail? Like, it was the most mind-boggling night of my life. But like, me and Gem were like, woo, like just stuffing, like, you know,
Gem is outrageous.
bras with dollar bills. Oh, for sure. Like, but it was like one of the best nights of my life. I'm like, this isn't happening.
Hello, Ken. Ken's here.
Oh, Ken made it.
Gem is one of those little fan bases that's like that, where it's very intimate. You know, Ernest is kind of like that. Not to go back to the well of shit I used to work on, but
right.
I used to do an Ernest podcast. I did 2 of them. There is an Ernest Day in Montgomery Bell State Park where they shot Ernest Goes to Camp, and everybody knows everybody. It's very intimate community, but it's a lot bigger than you realize. And it's kind of cool. Like, if you're outside looking in, or you're not used to fandoms or anything like that, maybe you're like, what the hell is this? But if you're used to it, it's really cool to kind of see that intimacy. Oh, come on, Mike.
Isn't that where you met Mike?
That's where we actually physically met Mike. he was just a voice on the internet or on Twitter, and Mike, then we meet.
Even I know the lore, and this is like the first time. Even I know
the dark backstory.
I have lore. Does that mean 20 years from now I'm going to be nostalgic?
You know, we don't know what's going to happen with all these old YouTube videos in like 20, 30 years. So who knows? Who's watching this in the future? Future Allison.
Gatekeep my past, Andrew.
Future Allison, your thighs were not as fat as you thought they were, but they were still pretty fat.
Also, I'd hate for like nerds in like 20 years to be like, yeah, Andrew blew up the Death Star. And I'm like, that was 50 years ago. Get over it. Like, that was
Right.
one afternoon. Like, get off my ass. Like, one
It was
time.
it was just a good shot. Some old dude was whispering in my
Yeah.
ears, shoot now, it happens. Anyway. Right? You must be earnest when you see earnest. So
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
but again, sort of and tying that back to Jem, that's kind of like I think that bodes well though if kids do see Jem or get a Jem doll and they go and sort of investigate, on YouTube or whatever it is the kids are doing. I don't know where they are. I mean, that's okay. But I'm hoping that like, because I liked Jem, but I wasn't like a Jem fan as a kid. It's only been sort of digging into her and sort of getting to enjoy her now as an adult that like I've really got to dig into and just sort of the friendly. It's really at times a little shocking based on sort of the way other fandoms I've been a part of have been. Star
yeah.
Wars. I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, it sometimes really is terrible to hang out with Star Wars fans. And Jem has been the exact opposite, and that makes me hopeful because I think if kids do get into the Jem toy line and they go investigate Jem, they're gonna find people who are actually like pleasant to them and welcoming and like, oh, come hang out with us or whatever. And that's I think
Yeah.
part of why kids aren't getting into some of our stuff is it's not fun. It's not a secret garden of joy.
There's a gate on this secret garden,
Yeah,
and it's bullplop.
exactly, Mike.
Star
Mike
Wars
gets
Twitter.
it. See, I knew I liked
Yeah,
him.
just say Acolyte and just watch them foam at the mouth. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's gotten ludicrous.
There's so much Star Wars I didn't like. The expanded universe in the 90s and, sort of the finger quote glory days of Star Wars. And you know what I did? I just didn't reread it and I didn't shit on anybody who enjoyed the thing I didn't like because you know what? They liked something that was Star Wars. And, it's like breakfast
Let
at Tiffany's. That's the one thing we've got.
And you mean to say that you did all that and your life just continued on
My life
A-okay?
was fine, just letting somebody enjoy something I didn't like. It was like they had their own secret garden of joy.
Damn.
All right. Any final thoughts on Jem before we get to
Final thought, I want all of it.
all of it?
Yeah.
I want all of
I
it.
want some for me, and I want some for my niece Jules because I got her into it. I was babysitting one night and popped it on Tubi, and she's like, "What's this?" And she was
This was
into
the
it,
80s,
so.
baby.
Jem is outrageous.
It's a golden age of being a child.
Yeah.
Parents kind of sucked, but it was rad.
I know. That's
Parents,
the one
what?
thing I am envious of Jerica. Like her parents were out of the picture. And
Yeah,
like,
dead. That's great.
Yeah,
she still had to be she had to be a rock star.
she was a
got-
pretty Batman.
It was ideal.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Anyway. So next, M.A.S.K.
Mhm.
And this is from my personal collection, this poster. Not the toys. I don't have any vintage M.A.S.K. stuff because it's expensive and it's hard to track down and there are a lot of little parts.
Yeah, it's way too much.
And
Like Dino Riders.
this
Don't
is like
bother.
wave one.
Or dino saucers.
So
Awesome.
and I'll quickly go through a few so I'm hopeful that we both get the loyal subjects give us a few of these vehicles. But also I would not mind if we got some figure packs or some of the adventure packs. I think a mixture of both would be a nice way to ease into it. And for people who have quality control issues about like concerns about the vehicles, I think this is a nice way for them to ease into it. They could do 2 or 3 vehicles, nail those, and then put out some figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the
whatever,
Thunderhawk, of course.
these have to be the first 4 vehicles.
I was gonna say if you lead with these 2, or honestly lead with these 4, two larger bangers and then 2 little ones, I think that's probably the smart way to go. As far
Although
as
the
like
Rhino, the big truck, like that's sort of like
Yeah.
a centerpiece one too. I mean, it's in the title or in the the logo.
okay, so maybe 5 vehicles. maybe.
Yeah. But then maybe, like throw in like extra figures in each one. Like it doesn't need to be like one for one necessarily.
Yeah.
The Thunderhawk could come with Matt Tracker and a run over T-Bob and Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And
Scott. Yeah.
It's
and then Venom can have both Miles and Maximus Mayhem.
oh yeah, that.
Yeah, right? Well, that was a pretty easy repaint.
Season 2, Twin Brother.
Evil twin. Good twin.
But that's the thing. They're already
Evil-er
evil.
twin.
Yeah, right? The evil-er. I am the evilest of the evil twin. I mean, you can
I'm the
tell.
Horde Prime.
Maximus
Yeah,
is
right.
way more evil than Miles.
Oh yeah.
How much O'Keefe in this movie?
It's in the name.
Yeah. I just worry because, like, not to get, like, too Adam highly articulated about it, but I mean, like, their figures have not been super great, and then they've never done a vehicle. So, like, I mean, granted, like, Ramen didn't do many vehicles before getting into literally this game, and they've been fantastic. I have the Thunderhawk, and I've got the Shark coming soon too, and I'm like, I'm in. But if this is a better price point,
yeah.
Well, what they have said, what they did say in the announcement, either in the announcement or in some of the questions that they've taken around it, is these will be vintage scale. So the one thing I will say is they're smaller. Sorry, Cat Mayhem in the background. Their smaller figures seem
I'm watching mine. I know he's up
seem
to
to be fine. Like, like the little blind box figures and stuff that, people that aren't the Strawberry Shortcake awesomeness. The little blind box figures are about the size of M.A.S.K figures. So I'm not concerned about the M.A.S.K figures. They're going to be in vintage scale. I think if they do vintage scale figures, they have a much, in my opinion, I could be wrong, a much higher potential of nailing the vehicles because it's a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
the only thing I asked for the figures is like just paint eyes on them. I found it so unsettling.
Yeah, and
that is a little creepy.
Yeah, just these blank faces. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
If you can afford it and it's within your means, but do it. If you want it and you can afford it,
do it anyway. I'll be the bad one. Just buy it. Put it on credit. Don't worry about it.
Buy.
Tomorrow's problem.
Yeah. I mean, you can
consume.
But
we're a secret garden of bad influences.
But it's joyful bad influence.
Yes, it is so joyful.
So
or wait for this.
They do vehicles. This should be like their first. I know people are like, we need more, but I think a solid year with these 4 and then some figures would be a solid first year, and then they can prove themselves. Oh, hello. Exactly. Thank you. See, and
fair point.
Shannon earlier today was unboxing cute little tiny Disney things. So I'm gonna have to. I'll have you on some night, Shannon, so that we can unbox stuff and chat. So, even though she, like myself, she's way more coloring than I am, but she literally was the cutest little Disney chibis. So,
chibis.
And then I put because Loyal Subjects, as far as I can tell, has never done an actual play set. But if they're going
good time to start,
this would be ideal.
Yeah. Everyone loves this thing. I remember like my friend Mark got it before me, and like I think I punched him. Like I was just the blind rage that like erupted from me. It's just the jealousy. It was like really ugly side of me, but I was like, want
it. So I will lean in on cute color side, and the one exception to those is the first 4 would be Vanessa and Manta. Like I would like if they gave actually both of the ladies in Wave 1, I think would go a long way. But if they don't, if they just do those 4, this is the one time I will forgive a toy company for not releasing a lady in Wave 1, because with M.A.S.K and sort of the nuts and bolts of it, if you will, I feel like I could excuse it in this case because it's a legacy line. Kenner didn't give us women until much later. And they've got to prove themselves a little bit outside of Strawberry Shortcake and Rainbow Bright to people. So.
That said, there is sort of you see it over in the cell quite a bit where they do sort of try to like right wrongs because like Vanessa, her car, her figure, both were great. Gloria was hot trash. The figure was in weird colors, wrong car. So I think,
Yeah.
and again, Ramon's doing the same thing where it's like if you want to grab the collectors, if you want to actually get like hook them in quickly, you make the shark and you make Gloria
Yeah,
in the right
that's a good
colors.
point.
Hell yeah.
So, and this is wave 2, where Vanessa was somewhere in here, right? I think this is just one-sided. No, yeah, she's, I think, somewhere in there.
She is in.
Maybe not.
No, she's not.
She's wave 3. That's right. Because there were 4.
Yep.
I should know this. I made videos out of these posters.
It took till wave 3 to get Vanessa.
Yeah.
But
Shit.
yeah, technically, I think there were the figure packs. I think I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she was in one of the figure 2 packs, and that landed before her actual vehicle did.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think she and Gloria both were like written out of the show by the time they even came out, so it was kind of like a.
And then
Why?
split seconds, 19.
Oh, but yeah, by the time they get to the racing and the.
I will
Season
say
2.
though, Gloria, wrong color, wrong vehicle. But if they did these translucent figures, I think highly articulated Adam at minimal would buy those. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
everyone loves
That's-
translucent.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Can't go wrong. Like, it's always a yes. I don't care what it is. Like,
No, that's true. I just recently it's sitting in my pile of loot, and part of the reason why I bought it was marked down to like $8. But vintage card, Marvel Legends, Human Torch, on that 90 style Fantastic Four card. Bought it.
Yep.
Translucent, and he was $8.
yeah.
He's gonna
It
look
looks like
real
candy.
cool with Chris Star.
I still need a Crystar because that's super cool.
Yes, you.
I've
do.
never seen him out in the wild.
No, same.
Like, he just flies off the shelf.
Never saw him.
Go figure, Mike. Literally, go figure. No, that was a bad one. See, Derek. Now we've both had a terrible joke that failed.
And you know what? You are big enough to admit as much.
It's because it's a
It's
secret
okay
garden.
To
Of
make a
non-douchery.
bad joke. They're not all gonna land, or it's gonna be
I'm not.
or it's gonna seem like a Laffy Taffy joke, and that's fine.
So what you're saying is I shouldn't like bust a microphone off the table and then like go offline for 5 minutes and then come back dramatically. Okay.
Probably not. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah,
Zero
I just have a good laugh.
blink 3 times if you need us to send out.
Are we getting a little
See,
too on the
Shannon
nose?
Shannon is our people. We love Shannon. But yeah, so
And
I know
I'll say
we're-
this, if I may. We had two guys with way better hair. Anyways,
oh, shots fired.
I combed it today, so you're welcome.
oh yeah, I
I
got the
washed
sun's
mine,
getting
so
it blonde.
there we go.
Lux.
I shampooed even and used conditioner, and it was not the horse conditioner.
Oh,
I stopped using that. in
Expensive
91.
stuff.
I know.
to give your hair that sassy and brassy look.
Wait.
There you go. Oh, that's some Vidal Sassoon shit.
Just heard the Charlie's Angels do that in the background. All right, so that's the end
Playing
of
in
the
my
side show. We are running a little over. I do know, Andrew, we need to get you to bed before you turn into a pumpkin.
Oh,
Or a werewolf.
Our werewolf.
the full moon.
Wait. Do we have Mystery Science Theater? Well, I'm a Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan. Werewolf.
Yeah.
Werewolf. And if you don't get the
Oh
reference,
no,
go to YouTube.
Andrew's werewolf.
I'm a, he turned into werewolf. Anyway, Google werewolf, Mystery Science Theater 3000, and if it's not the clip of the lady saying werewolf poorly 3,000 times, you've gone to somewhere different.
Now that is a secret garden.
Exactly. Yeah, I see. Exactly. I've got too much forehead. I've got 5 head today. Which, ironically, 5 head was my friend's nickname in college. Anyway, but we won't go into that. She dated the guy we called the slime blower, who was not the same guy as Slimer. But anyway,
There was a slimer and a
So
slime
much
blower.
slime.
I know it was college was wild, y'all.
What
A lot of
friggin'
Ghostbusters.
college did you go to?
I don't think I can mention that because there are like NDAs and
Fair.
restraining
Okay.
orders
From all the
and-
slime people.
Yes.
Well, also my ex might be able to track me down. We all know that that's about it.
No.
Anyway, anyway, so let's slightly get back on track. Any last thoughts, Andrew, about stuff?
As I hear a cat meow.
It's mine.
No, it's good stuff. I mean, one of the cats. No, I mean between this and Hasbro, I mean like this is there's some good stuff on the horizon. It's like you know, as much as everyone's like dour and complaining and whatever, I mean there's fun things happening out there. So just sort of, you know, follow your nose to fruit flavor it goes.
Very good. Very good.
Derek,
Toucan to quit.
No, this is all joyous news and good tidings. The financially, I'm going to be in ruins more so, but the idea of a vintage Motu classics, or not classics, but Masterverse line is enchanting. I like what's going on with the new Eternia stuff. That's becoming, like with you, Allison, I'm cherry picking, but the stuff I'm picking, I love it. They're the characters I connected with, and the sculpts look great. As far as what's coming down the line, with especially with loyal subjects, I'm very excited for this. I hope the gem line is successful, because I would like, much like your concept, still, I would like to see that lineup. It would be great to have that representation in my office once I get that put together. M.A.S.K, it can either go very well or very poorly. I'm going to have faith that it goes very well. So it is, like Andrew said, it's very exciting. There's a lot of negative crap out there, and people just being boo friggity who about toys when there's plenty of things to be excited about. If you're going to be upset about something with toys, be mad that another wave of superpowers is coming and there's no girls. Oh shit! I shouldn't have ought to said that.
Oh no! There you
Whoops,
go.
my bad.
If you say Todd McFarlane in the mirror 3 times, he comes out and takes all your ladies.
Yeah, he comes out. I'm taking the ladies. Now I'm going home and making an omelet. Shut the hell up.
You're a serial killer for having these. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
No,
Why
but
does
we're
Tom
getting more
McFarlane talk like
Supermans
he's
and
from
Batmans.
Brooklyn, even though he's from Canada? I don't know.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
See, I always think he
I don't know
sounds
what
like
that
a
accent is.
Southie.
I don't recognize that accent whatsoever. So
Yeah. It's like somebody who's very bad at acting trying to do a regional play with an accent.
off
Dinner,
Broadway.
like
Yeah.
dinner theater.
Yeah. Or like a murder mystery where like there's that one girl who's dressed like a flapper for no reason. Like it's that kind of thing.
Yes.
I'm so
Yes.
glad I didn't wear my flapper costume tonight, because I would be the
That
first.
would have been awkward.
That would have been super awkward. Todd McFarlane would have popped up behind me like the doll from like Saw or whatever. You want to
Just
play
pops
with a
up.
lady?
What the hell are you doing?
And then I would have to break out like one of the Leias and like chase him off like with it. You would see it and like recoil like Dracula. Anyway, my final thoughts are: I'm really excited and I'm enjoying this secret garden of joyfulness. And
Yes.
also, the Surgeon General says there's too much violence on TV and that should stop. But even if you took all of the violent content out of TV shows, you could still see violence on the news.
Yes.
So until we can become a more peaceful society where there's no violence on the news, then there's no point in taking it out of TV shows that need it for entertainment value.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
anyway. All right.
He's not wrong. I have a lot of renovating to do.
You've got so much. All right. And on that note, we're gonna do the kids say skedaddle?
I actually just saw a TikTok about this yesterday.
Oh,
Did
no,
you send
did
it
it?
the skedaddler thing?
I didn't send that. I was just gonna
All
say
right,
we're
maybe I
gonna
just
skedaddle,
lost
but I
it.
don't want to sound like I'm trying to steal stuff the kids say because that would be sus.
Do the kid? Yeah. Do they say the bussin', skibbity toilet riz?
Ohio.
We got to get out of here because we're just
Yeah.
we're goaded with
This
the
is
sauce.
nonsense now.
See, Shannon says skedaddle, so we're cool, 'cause
23
Shannon is
skidoo.
closer in age, so
I'm good with
Um,
skedaddle.
okay, so we're gonna skedaddle out of here. This has been Retro Cavalcade.
Cavalcade.
We're gonna try to do a stream on a night once a month, now through the end of the year, just talking toys, inviting you into our secret gardens. And regular content will continue on my channel. Why do I just want to call you something that's not Andrew? Andrew.
Richard.
I almost called you Angelica for some reason. I'm like, that's not right.
Angelica.
You can. You totally can from
I
now
just
on.
feel like I gave Angelica Toucan or whatever. Like,
I will. Yeah, I will sign off by saying I've got a video every Saturday of the missing 80s and sometimes 90s ladies. We're missing this week is Wonder Woman and the Star Riders, so it's
Ooh.
ridiculous. So tune
one of
in.
my favorites of the
Nice.
missing. And then Andrew will be joining me at some point in the next few weeks on a Sunday to color and talk about women figures we never got. So,
yeah,
that Todd.
And Derek, where can the people find Derek?
Oh, every Monday, new episodes, yesterday's on your podcast app of choice, or you can typically find the episodes on yesterdaysmedia.com. That's going through a shift. Ben's going to be stepping away from that, and I'm going to be learning more about posting there. But no, the podcast app or whatever the hell it is with your Apples and your Spotify's. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find yesterday's podcast, baby. I do that with Jason and Dustin. It's very irreverent. We swear a lot. So if you're looking for something that's very, if you want to talk about toys and you can have your kids in the car and listen to it, Toy Geeks, that Allison is a researcher for, that is a great show for that. If you want something that the kids cannot listen to, but you're going to probably have a pretty good time, yesterday's, but your children should not be listening to it.
Think of the children.
Think of the children.
Think of the children. You can find tomorrow, in a couple hours, I have a color and chill Frosta versus Catrid landing in a few hours. Friday. Saturday, there is a Galoo Action Fleet Star Wars toy booklet. Sunday, I will be here with Dad at Arms, aka Colt.
Cool.
We're going to be coloring some He-Man and Teela because we all know Colt stands the Teela He-Man stand. So it's going to be fun because Colt is one of my favorite people in the He-Man Masters of the Universe fandom. And this is the first time we'll get to hang out. So it'll be exciting. And then Monday I know some of you will cringe as I say this, I have a Barbie video hitting. It's all of my completed non-Barbie and the Rockers pages. I do a flip through and then I'm coloring a page of Barbie, getting ready to go deep sea diving. So anyway, that's what's coming up.
I wasn't expecting that.
I know, it's fun. I do Barbie content.
Last thing I thought you
her.
Right?
Open heart surgery, yeah. Astronaut,
flippers
sure.
And pens and, without even having to take weird medications to get those flippers. So anyway, thank you all for watching. We will see you in the next one.